maybe I would like to use this word. They are astray in the sense of they have also deviated. I think the word astray can also mean they deviated from the right path when they were there all the time. And 16 says so. They have chosen the straying instead of guidance. The choice is there. But some people could be disbelievers from the beginning.
Right.
So they were never on the path.
They never come to the
Yeah.
right side.
So as Carl and I were talking the other night, they had no path at the beginning, they had no direction. But the righteous have a direction. The strayers, once upon a time, were given that sense of direction, but they chose to deviate and so on. That's all I want to say. I'm taking so much of your time.
I guess something
I
more.
want to summarize what Din Mahmoud said, and then add a verse in the Quran to confirm what Din Mahmoud is saying, that there are the believers, righteous, and then the disbelievers and the hypocrites. But he said that the hypocrites are also disbelievers, which they are. The hypocrites are disbelievers who say that they are believers. And I think we will crown this idea by looking at page 65 at the bottom. Page 65 at the bottom. That's just one point. God has revealed to you in the scriptures that if you hear the revelations of God being rejected and ridiculed, you shall not sit with them unless they change the subject. Otherwise, you will be as guilty as they are. And then the last part says, God will gather the hypocrites together with the disbelievers in hell. So both the disbelievers and the hypocrites are together. Carla has
Another remark. On verse 16, I was going to show a really strong parallelism. Okay, it says, they have chosen the straying instead of guidance, and thus their trade never prospers, nor are they ever guided. And if we go to Surah 22, verse 11-12, that's on page 226.
Surah 22.
Ted 226.
Right. Okay, and there is the
What's the verse number?
11 and 12. And there is the one who worships God conditionally. If something good happens to him, he is content. But when a tribulation afflicts him, he reverts. Thus he loses both in this life and the hereafter. This is the real loss. He idolizes besides God what neither harms nor benefits him. This is the farthest stray. And to me, that's an expansion on that verse, very strongly so. It's because it's conditional worshiping. That's where they were on the path, and then they left it as a strayer.
Just shows that he really doesn't believe.
Yeah.
He only believes if something good is going on with him.
And it also says here that their trade never prospers. In 16, well, it says here they lose both in this life and the hereafter.
If we go by that step point, then the in would be a Hebrew plural. So we would have in that Surah Al-Fatiha a Hebrew word. Mustaqim would be a Hebrew word according to your interpretation, which I think is correct. Now, the first line, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, contains the number 17, which we spend the number 19, and now the number 17 shows up. So we have in the first line the verse 19 for the Arabic, and the verse 7, the number 19, which is all over the Quran, and we have the number 17. Now the number 17 is a number of Surah Bani Israel. So the idea of 17 and 19 together would be very consistent with the idea of having Arabic words and Hebrew words together. Now, for the other point, on page 361, yes, the Iranians invented it, the Baha'is, but 19 months.
361?
Yeah, 19 months of 19 days, that's the Baha'i calendar. So, it shows people who say that Amana, that they believe, but they're not, the faith has not entered their heart. So I think that in order the chapter 3 on hypocrites, in Surah 2, is a long description of people. So apparently the Quran has more concern with the hypocrites than with everybody else. So that shows the degree of being a hypocrite is very important. It's a critical position, and the spirit of the Quran is to give the remedy to the religion.
This is also very easy to perceive, because you can imagine a person coming to you and saying, I am a disbeliever, I don't believe in this. And a person coming to you and saying, I'm a believer, I agree with you, I believe 100%, when that person really is not a believer. So you can see the deceit and the danger of the hypocrite.
I look at it in terms of a circle mechanism, so you get an error, so we get a lengthy analysis of the error in order to have all the possible error recovery devices. An engineer who designs a servo mechanism first must have a sensor to find out the error, and then a correction device. I think the Quran is a servo mechanism for the believer.
Okay, let's go on to verse 20, that also deals with the hypocrite. The light of faith. Verse 20 says, the lightning is so bright, it almost blinds them. Whenever it lights for them, they move forward. And when it turns dark, they stand still. If God will, He could have taken away their hearing and their eyesight. God is omnipotent. And we have a footnote here that says, He does not imply gender in the Arabic language. God Almighty is neither male nor female. This is why Arabic was chosen for the final scripture. Okay, this has to do with the word He. But the allegory of the lightning is that the hypocrites actually sit with the believers and they claim to be believers, so they are getting the light of the Quran. And whenever they follow that light, they move forward. But when they ignore it, they are in total darkness, they cannot move, they stand still. Then we go to verse 21. O people, you shall worship your Lord who created you and those before you, that you may attain salvation. He is the one who made the earth habitable for you. He is the one who constructed the sky. He sends down water from the sky to produce fruits for your sustenance. Therefore you shall not set up idols besides God, despite this knowledge. If you have any doubts concerning this revelation to our servant, then produce one surah like this and ask your idols, whom you set up beside God, to do the same if you have truth. And the challenge here to produce a surah is not simply a literary challenge. Because there were people who wrote pieces of literature that are excellent. Shakespeare, and even in Arabic, or even some Arabic literature giants who claim that they can write better than the Quran, literature-wise. And I agree with them. They actually did magnificent writing. But the challenge here has to do with the mathematical structure of Quran, not just the literature. And that will really nullify their claims. I mean, what can you say to a person who says, I can write better than Quran? And that's his opinion, and he will find a lot of people who will agree with him. But the mathematical structure cannot be duplicated. Yeah. Joseph had 11 brothers, and he saw in his dream 11 stars. So it is a significant number. Then we come to some very important teachings in Quran, starting at verse 24, and where heaven and hell are allegorically described. Now, they are allegorically described because we can not. Somebody preaching over there? Heaven and hell are allegorically described because we cannot imagine the beauty of heaven or the severity of hell. There is absolutely no way you can imagine heaven or hell. That's why in Surah 32 we're told that you have no idea how much joy and happiness are waiting for you in heaven. Nobody among the believers have any idea how much joy and happiness are in heaven. It's indescribable. So God describes them in terms that we can understand here. That's gardens, fruits, food, the things that we enjoy in this life. And then the fire. So 24 says, if you fail to do this, and most certainly you will fail. That is to duplicate the Quran, mathematical structure, and writing. If you fail to do this, then most certainly you will fail. Then be aware of the hellfire, whose fuel is people and wrath. It awaits the disbelievers. And give good news to those who believe and work righteousness, that they have deserved gardens with flowing streams. This is the first description of heaven and hell. When given a fruit therein, they would say, this is what was given to us before. They will be given the same kind. They will have pure spouses therein, and abide therein forever. Thus, God does not shy away from any kind of allegory, from down to a mosquito and higher. So you can, this will give you an idea that the description of heaven in Quran compared to the real heaven is like the mosquito compared to you. Size-wise, complexity-wise, and of course, goal-wise. I mean, you don't go around stinging people. There are some people who do sting. Those who believe know that it is the truth from the Lord. Why the disbelievers would say, what does God mean by such an allegory? He misleads many thereby, and guides many thereby. But he never misleads except the wicked. And this verse started a whole bunch of discussions that went on for centuries, literally. Does God mislead? This question was discussed over many centuries, and the answer is yes. But you see the end of the verse here says, but he never misleads except the wicked. So the person is already wicked. The person already made the decision that he doesn't want to have anything to do with God. So God says, okay, I'm going to help you. You don't have anything to do with me, I'm going to mislead you. And God misleads that person. All the circumstances will work out against the guidance of a person who doesn't want to have anything to do with God. So the decision has to be made first. Either you make a decision you want to believe in God, or the person makes a decision that he or she doesn't want to have anything to do with God. Then based on this, God actually guides or misleads. If you decide that you want to believe in God, then all the circumstances around you will work out to guide you. Everything will direct you in that direction. God takes over after that. All you need is make a decision. That's why sometimes people would want a solution to their health problems, or financial problems, or any kind of problem, and there's always one solution. Only one solution. That's to go to God. Be with God. That's one solution. That will solve all the problems. Any kind of problem you can think of. There was a whole bunch of problems the other day on TV. I kept saying that only one solution. I don't believe in that. Yeah.
The liver transplant, wasn't it liver
Yeah. Any kind of problem, whether it is health or finance or marital or social, all you need is make one decision. That will solve all the problems. But you have to have that confidence. You cannot do it with hesitation. Where will the money come from? If I believe in God and just put all my trust in Him, where will the money come from? Well, God says it will come once you never expect. I mean, if you expect it, the verse will not be correct. But it will come. Your problems will be over. All of them. Yes.
And misleading done. There is, for the decision, there are decisions which don't amount to much, the people who are not mature, who are not of age, if they make the wrong decision, they will not be penalized. I mean, they would be...
Children?
Hmm?
Children?
Yes, and they can
But
apply...
they're not supposed to make the decision here.
But they will make.
They will later when they grow up. Yeah.
So there are people who are not capable of decision, so they think they make a decision, and they can
God
be...
knows that. I mean, there's a person who are mentally retarded or something, and they're incapable of making decisions. That person goes straight to heaven. He's lucky. That's a lucky person.
So Reagan will go to heaven.
What? Who? Reagan?
Reagan.
Reagan. Well, if he believes in God, yes. Are we at 27? The definition of the wicked. The wicked that are misled by God. The wicked who violate God's covenant after pledging to keep it, disregard what God has ordered of him, and corrupt the earth. These are the losers. Then we come to a very important verse. 2 deaths and 2 lives. How could you disbelieve in God when you were dead and He gave you life? Then He will put you to death, then bring you back to life. To Him is your ultimate return. Now, do you see the 2 deaths and 2 lives? You know what death feels like? Do you know what death feels like?
Sleeping?
That's right. So we tried it before. We were dead. Remember the 3 million years you were dead? You were dead for 3 million years. Or more. And that's exactly how death would feel like. So if there was 3 million years to the day of resurrection, that's how long it will feel to you. I mean, exactly the way it felt to you when you were first dead. So you can think of all the human beings as that's the total human population, past, present, and future. They exist in 1 of 3 stages. You have death before birth, then life, Mars. Can you sit back over there? Mars. Can you sit over there? I can't lay down over there. Or, and then the other stage is being alive from birth to death, and then the second death. And when the last person or the last group of people die, then comes the resurrection. So you can see the 2 deaths and 2 lives. We were dead, now we're alive, we're going to die, and then we get up again for the eternal life. Real life. And this is repeated in Quran. But death, of course, is a big mystery to most people, but not to Muslims. Muslims know exactly what death feels like. Most people, people who don't read the Quran, they don't realize that before birth they were dead. Are you asking a question? Means, okay, when you come and vacuum this mosque, I will give you a $5 recompense.
That's an offer, huh?
Huh?
That's an offer.
Yes, sir.
Can I just want to make a very simple reflection on the divine craftsmanship. And what I will say is known to most of you. And anyhow, a little reminder is not so bad. It's very interesting. See, 27 stops on a kind of subject, and 28 is a new one, although related, not related. On the fifth verse of Surah 2, Allah says that the righteous, those who follow the guidance, they are the winners. Now in Arabic, muflihun, right? Now don't forget this wali. This is for you, huh? Muflihun, the verb is F, 3 letters, F, L, A. F, L, A. And mufli means one, muflihun many. Now, at the end of 27, the hypocrite and the disbelievers, these are the losers. See, there's a kind of craftsmanship, right? Now, what I was going to mention is that, therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, when Wali makes the azan, or Ustaz makes the azan, there's a phrase which they say which is very beautiful. They say, Hayya al-falah, Hayya al-falah. See, falah is the same, F-L-A. Come and join the winning team. When Wali says, Hayya al-falah, come to the winning team. And Quran says, they are those who observe Salat prayers. These are the winners. So the Muazzin is telling us, come to pray. Hayya al-Salah means come to the winning team, to success. And this is the same word used by the Quran. The righteous are the winners. The Azan is telling us, forget everything now and join the winning team. It's a very simple observation, but I think it means a lot. Even our Azan, the call to prayer, is really come to join the winning team. And that's all I want to say. I want the Azan to be more meaningful to us in relation to the Quran.
Well, at this time I'm going to make an announcement, and that is we're celebrating the birthdays of three people. We're celebrating today is Mariam's birthday.
Today?
Yes, and tomorrow is Inga's birthday, and Larry's birthday was when? Huh? When is it? Larry was, so we're going to make, to celebrate the birthday, we'll have to be our teachers tonight. So Inga, you want
What's left?
Okay, Inga, 29. Start at 29.
I hope I'm not taking too much time. I promise that's my last remark.
Start again.
But,
Don't let him bug you.
Yeah, like everybody.
he intimidates me.
He likes to tease.
He intimidates me. Like at 27, those who violate God's covenant after pledging to keep it. I think this can mean two things. Historically, it might refer to those hypocrites who made a pledge with Allah regarding the coming of the Prophet to Medina and so on. But that's historical. For the more general aspect, it might have a reference to that verse, Alastik Rabbikum, I can't find it.
Just coming up. Oh, that's Surah 7.
Yeah, Surah 7, 100.
143. 42. Surah 7, 142 or 143. 143.
I'm sorry.
113.
100?
113.
Yeah, 100.
Should be 143. 7, 113.
You wanna?
No.
Am I not your Lord?
No, that's 143. That's 143. The 173. That's confused me.
No, excuse me, Lord.
114.
You want to say, am I not your Lord?
172.
There's a verse?
Yeah, 172.
One. Yes,
Surah 7, 172.
I think,
The one where Moses, the mountain crumbled.
I think that verse 27 of Surah 2 might be related to verse 172 of Surah 7, page 116.
That's the covenant.
Yeah, this is the original covenant when Allah asked the descendants of Adam, am I not your Lord? And mankind says, yes. That is a covenant. They admit that Allah is the Lord. And therefore this means a system of relations. And certainly obligations on the part of mankind towards Allah, but Allah promises revelation. And yeah, back to Surah Baqarah, these are people who have entered into God's covenant. All of us have entered a covenant with Allah. It's part of our nature, part of our mental, biological, physical, spiritual makeup to accept Allah as a Lord. Or an instinct. It's a religious instinct and inclination on the part of man. This is a covenant. And those who break the covenant go against their very nature. They're not very, they go against their instincts, against their nature.
People who don't believe in God are going against their instinct. Can you imagine the birds refuse to lay on their eggs? So the bird lays the eggs and then sits on the eggs. That's instinct. And if they refuse to lay on the eggs, they would have been extinct, all of them.
And therefore,
But, did you look at verse 172 of Surah 7? Do you realize now that you made a covenant with God? You, each one of you, made a covenant with God. That He is our Lord.
and those who break this covenant, they're the ones who
They're wicked, yes.
they bring trouble to the earth. They don't care about the day of accountability, because verse 172 says, therefore you cannot say on the day of resurrection, we never knew about this.
Right.
But these people who bring corruption on earth are those who feel they don't have to account to anyone. They bring mystery. They are no different from the birds who refuse to lay eggs. They are the same thing with ritual. But that's all.
So before we go to Inga, can I ask the mothers to make sure the kids are quiet? And if your kid is making noise contributing to distraction, just take him out to the front. Rahima, can you tell that off please?
Then they never go back to the they don't know any
Okay, as soon as we're quiet, we'll go to our teacher Inga, celebrating her birthday.
How far is my share of this?
29 to 39. Says that.
You want me to read all of it?
And give us your reflections. We'll see how much ESP you have.
That's what it says. Creation of the heavens and the earth. He is one who created and do everything on earth, then turned to the sky and designed 7 heavens therein. He is fully aware of all things. Then your Lord said to the angels, I am placing a representative on earth. They said, shall you place therein one who is corrupt therein and shed blood, while we praise your glory and hold you sacred? He said, I know what you do not know. He taught Adam all the names, then presented them to the angels, saying, tell me the names of these if you are right. They said, glory be to you. We have no knowledge except that which you taught us. You are the omniscient, the wise. He said, O Adam, tell them their names. When he told them their names, he said, did I not tell you that I know the secrets of the heavens and the earth, and I know everything you declare and everything you conceal? Then he said to the angels, fall prostrate before Adam. They fell prostrate except Iblis. He refused, turned arrogant, and thus he became a rebel. Then he said, O Adam, live with your wife in paradise. Eat generously therefrom as you please. But do not approach this one tree, lest you become sinners. But the devil duped them out of it, causing their eviction therefrom. He said, go down as enemies to each other, and on earth will be your habitation and sustenance for a while. Then Adam received from his Lord words, whereby he redeemed him. He is the Redeemer, the merciful. We said, go down therefrom, all of you, and when guidance comes to you from me, those who follow my guidance have nothing to fear, nor will they grieve. For those who disbelieve and reject our revelation, they have deserved hell. They abide therein forever. Seven heavens always interest me. One of the
So read the footnote.
Our immediate universe includes 100 billion galaxies and a billion trillion stars, and distances of millions of light years. All this incredible vastness is only part of the lowest and smallest heaven. 6 more larger heavens surround our innermost small heaven, and all 7 heavens are within God's right hand. Yet some people are ignorant enough to idolize such minute and colorless mortals as Jesus, Muhammad, and various saints. Sister 29 is showing us, well, we can't even judge.
There are 7 heavens. How many hells are there? There's 7 heavens. How many
So these
hells
are not the heavens, heaven and hell. This heaven here should be universes. It's like calling the sky a heaven.
7 universes. How many hells are there?
One hell. One heaven.
There's 100 hells according to Dante's Inferno written in the Renaissance century.
Yeah, we're studying the Quran now. We're reading the Quran, studying the Quran. Anything else is not guaranteed to be divine. Okay, then we'll go to the creation of man.
Creation of man in Surah 3, in Ayah 30. The Lord is telling angels that He's going to create man, and that they seem to be angry or annoyed because they already praised God, and apparently they don't see why there's need for something else. Sounds like they're a little annoyed. However, He's saying He's placed them on earth. I don't know if that means they think they'd like to go to earth too and be away from God or what.
Now, how did they know that the man is going to be bad?
That's interesting.
I'm going to give you something to think about. You notice the first statement God told the angels, and placing a representative where?
I don't know.
Now, this is before creation of Adam, right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't go to earth unless he breaks God's law. And now this is before he was created. Yeah, so this is why God put them in heaven, in paradise, put Adam and Eve in paradise. But before he created them, he said, I'm placing a representative on earth. Because God knew that they would break his law, and they would deserve to be kicked out of heaven and sent down to earth. And the angels concluded from this that this creature is going to break God's law. So they said, why do you create a creature who will break your laws when we praise your glory all the time? So God said, I know what you don't know, which is what? Right. Pardon? Right.
So what's the importance?
The importance of creating Adam?
No. He's asking what is the meaning of saying to Allah, we hold you sacred.
What you sacred means whatever you say we obey. So, this is, in other words, the angel said, we are doing everything that you expect us to do. We carry out your orders. I'm sorry, Inga, but I seem to...
Yeah, but I'm confused because going back to the about the fact when if we were dead before we were alive, okay, then it says just before this that He created the heavens and the earth, and then your Lord said to the angels, I'm taking a representative on earth. I guess I would have assumed that the souls had already been created, and so
Right. Right, you're right.
and they were already asleep.
That's right.
But,
Okay, now, if you take the whole Quran in totality, what Inga's asking is, God is telling the angel, who's making the noise there? Just keep them apart or something to make them quiet. Get butter out next to a roll.
Amo Inga raised a question. Inga was raising a
So
question.
Inga's saying, where are the souls of the human beings at that time? We're told in Surah 18, that God did not let the angels witness our creation, the creation of our soul. God created the souls of you and me and everybody, but the angels did not witness that. But at the appropriate moment, God told the angels, I'm going to place a creature on earth. And they said, they concluded from this that this creature will break God's law and will deserve to be kicked out of heaven and sent down to earth. So they said, why? create a creature who will break your law. And God said, I know what you don't know. What God knew, now this is an expression here. You remember when Inga read it? Let's see which verse is that? Yeah, the end of verse 30. His answer to the angels was, I know what you do not know. And what God knew was that one of the big angels, who's grunting? What God knew was that one of the archangels was thinking rebellious ideas. And God wanted to expose that one angel. Now the angels don't know that. The angels don't know that Satan is rebelling. But God knew what the angels did not know. And one purpose, the first purpose of creating Adam was to expose Satan. As you see later on, do you want to go on, Inga? We'll see.
Let me just say something. But Inga raised a question, which is mentioned by many other people.
What's the question?
It's this. Isn't this a bid on the part of the angel to become the representative? Did you not suggest it?
To become what?
No, you mentioned it in passing.
And then I want to know why they would do that. You know, they say they would want to be separated from
Many
God.
people-
He's trying to please.
Many persons have interpreted this verse to mean that the angels are saying to Allah, why put people who will shed blood?
Right.
As if they were making a bid. The angels wanted to be the representative. Some people have faced this question, and I heard, and it is very curious that Inga suggested that, no?
Well, I wondered if they were offering it.
Yeah, that's what.
And if there was a jealousy or something.
Well, rather than what just.
It's a simple question.
Yeah.
Just a simple question. Why create a creature who will break your laws when we don't do that?
Yeah.
It's a simple question. God said, I know what you don't know.
But isn't this a bid from the part of the angels that they're asking? Some people have said
They're already much higher.
That's a very interesting question.
They will not want to be lower. When he said representative on earth, that's a terrible demotion. And that is exactly what tipped off the angels as to the nature of the human being. Shedding blood, corrupting the earth, just, not praising God as he should be praised. And the evidence is all around us.
And he told Adam all the names, then he went to the angels saying, tell me the names of these if you are right. I've heard this talk about this a couple of times before, and I'm
Right.
comfortable with it. I don't.
Well, let
Who
me
is
put
the
it this way.
them? She's presented to the angels. He taught Adam all the names, then presented them to the angels.
Right. Did you watch the funeral of Princess Grace? Well, we did. It was here on the TV, right? So there's an event going on the other side of the globe that we're watching live here. Everything that's happening over there, we're watching it here. And how do you think the angels feel about this invention of the TV? Now this is the kind of thing that God taught us. Where a person is sitting in Washington, D.C., and we're sitting in Tucson watching that person. That's quite an invention. Now, this is the kind of knowledge that amazed the angels. This is what's meant by the names. In other words, God gave the human being knowledge. How do you think the angels feel about a 747 flying a huge city floating in the air? Did you ride a 747? Did you ride a 747 plane? When you ride it, you look inside and you just wonder, how is this steel, this thing built of steel and aluminum, etc., and carpets, engines, and so forth, is up floating in the air. And when you sit at you go to the tail end of the plane and look inside, it's like a floating city in the air. The human being did that. And the angels watching in amazement. So this is the knowledge that God gave to the human being. Inventing the TV, the video recorder, the airplane. That's what meant by the names.
So that really explains 31 and 32.
Right.
33. Thank you. Question over there?
Yeah.
What did he make the soul out of?
Yes, that's a question in Surah. That's a question in Surah 17.
Teacher, what did he make?
And that you'll find out in the day of resurrection. That's the answer. The soul is in a different dimension. Well, the soul is part of God, by the way. Yeah. Hey, CJ. Great. The soul is a small part of God. That's why when you do things that have to do with God, the soul grows. But what the neck looks like, what it is made of, you'll find out on the day of resurrection. Now that's not related, or is it related? Okay, go ahead.
34 seems pretty straightforward. More, I think, when the answer to 30 is revealed to the angels, when Satan refuses to.
Okay, so that was the first purpose of creating the human being, is to expose Adam. So God made us out of clay, lowly material. And Satan was very, very arrogant and rebellious. So God told the angels, this is what God knew, that the angels did not know. All right.
Then 35,
Samira has a question.
When Satan was cast out, from heaven, were there any other angels cast with him, or was he just cast by himself with his other self? Were other angels agreeing with him at the time?
What does the Bible say, remember? I think the Bible mentions other angels who went with him. Pardon?
No. Lucifer is the one who can say that. Raphael.
Are you going to answer the question?
No.
Well, let's wait until you answer the question.
What's the question again?
The question is, was Satan cast alone, or did they have angels with him? Lower angels with him.
In the Bible, not in the Torah, not in the Pentateuch, but in other parts of the Bible, a big group joined him.
It doesn't matter though, that's
Same banana.
What I was wondering was, like, okay, when it says that the descendants of Satan,
yeah.
I was wondering, where did he...
We were not with Adam at the time either. We didn't exist. We are descendants of Adam, but we didn't exist then. I mean, our bodies. Yeah. No, descendants means they came from him. That's what descendants mean. But I can't think of any place in Quran where it mentions any other angels. No, he just was cast out by himself. Yeah.
I'm still confused about whether Shaitan was an angel or whether he was like a jinn, because like if human beings were made out of clay and the angels were made out of light, they were made out of fire. The angels were made out of fire, they're not made out of light. Okay, so that explains it. No, because I knew that he was made of
The definition of jinn is a fallen angel. So the angel, when the angel falls, it becomes a jinn. Satan became a jinn. But he was an angel. There's one of the old sheikhs decided that Satan was not an angel. I think it's lack of knowledge of the Arabic language, because this happens only in Persia and Pakistan, where they refuse to believe that Satan was an angel. But if you look, do you have a copy of the Quran there?
Yeah.
If you look at verse 34, it says, Then we said to the angels. Both prostrate before Adam. So if Satan were not an angel, he was not required to prostrate. He never broke God's law. Because God told the angels to fall prostrate. Right? There's absolutely no question that Satan was an angel.
Yeah, I've heard only to be told the fallen angel.
Right.
What I was confused about is that I heard that the angels were made out of light.
It's a hadith. The Quran doesn't say they are made of light.
But it says that the jinn are made of fire.
Right. It doesn't say it says the jinns are made of fire. So since the jinn was an angel initially, then I suppose the angels are made of fire. You have the same material. But there's no difference between fire and light. Anyway, the angels made of light is a hadith. They're all. What's the question?
Now, there is a section that says,
What verse?
Surah 17, verse 61. I'm going to read it. When we said to the angels, bow down to Adam, they bowed down, except Iblis, Satan. He said, shall I bow down to the one you created from clay? So, what I understand from this is that Adam was already created in our form, in this body form there. But so they could see the clay form with this body.
Yeah.
But later on it says that when he ate from the tree, his body became visible.
Right. To him.
To himself.
Right. You see your soul?
No.
The soul is Iran.
Right.
This is not Iran. But you are now in the dimension where the body is visible to you. You're not in the dimension of Iran, the soul. That's why you don't see it. So before eating from the tree, they were in the dimension of the soul, where the body is invisible to them. And as soon as they broke God's law, they went down to the dimension where the you cannot see the both dimensions. Yeah, it's very clear in the Quran that when they ate from the tree, their bodies became visible to them. But the angels could see, of course, they have to see both dimensions. I mean, they are God's helpers. They're supposed to be have access to any dimension. Other questions?
Ustaz, I think we're going a little bit too fast. This idea of names, maybe we should go and spend some more time on it. Especially we compare it with we're not studying the Bible of the Jews and Christians, but I think if we go deeper, we might know something maybe. For example, one difference is this. In the Bible of the Jews and Christians, it does not say that God taught Adam. It is Adam, it is on his own accord, began to give names to the animals and the plants. See, this is already one difference. In Quran, Allah teaches Adam names, whatever these names are. But in the Bible of the Jews, Adam without. There's no suggestion that Allah teaches Adam. It's Adam who goes to the garden and he starts to name the things that God created. I think this is very important because the way Moses Maimonides, who is the greatest Jewish philosopher, describes how Adam is naming animals and plants, you would think that Adam was a professor of botany and geology. And I don't think that Allah would go, there are bigger things for him to worry about. So, many Muslims, in their tafsir, guided by the readings of the Jewish Bible, and to demonstrate to other Muslims that they know something else beyond Quran, began to teach us that what Allah taught Adam were the names of animals and plants. So this time it's Allah who becomes the professor of botany and zoology. Now, it seems there is something in the names which the angels do not know or maybe cannot know. But they can know some. Now this is very interesting. There have been many interpretations about this, and with your kind tolerance and indulgence. There is a standard teaching among some Sufi writers that these names refer to the names of Allah. Now first of all, I think among the Arabs, knowing a name is more than knowing a name, like Caesar. No. As Ustaz is saying, name refers to more than the name of someone. It refers to knowledge. This I accept. You mentioned it. And most people who have made commentaries will agree that these names refer to knowledge. Some say knowledge for abstraction. That is the intelligence of man. He can go from the concrete to the abstract. He can go and rationalize or rationalize. In other words, he can know logic. But I am very much inclined to accept the hints of the Sufis when they say that Allah taught Adam the names of his qualities. Now this is knowledge of the highest form, and the angels cannot know all. For example, Allah, one of the names of Allah is He is one who gives death. Now angels, it seems, don't know what is death. Death. Allah who will mumit. But Adam can understand eventually the meaning of death. Another thing, an angel, the philosophers are right, cannot understand the meaning of patience or the care of children, you know, because they don't have children. So when Allah tells us, be patient, we understand that. If Allah helps us, we understand Allah if He tells us to be patient. This is a quality which Allah helps us develop, but the angels cannot have this. In other words, the angels, belonging to another dimension and not having a physical body like us, cannot exemplify some of the virtues which Allah already wants us to demonstrate. And I think many of these names of Allah, like for example, Musawwir, and also Allah is the Muhyi, He gives lives. In some ways we do give lives with the help of Allah. When we have children, we are in some ways creating, naturally, with the help of Allah, we are creating life. And I do not think angels understand that. They cannot know these things.
Be careful now, you don't make them angry.
No, because I cannot see.
They're watching you now.
I cannot see. I'm talking, I cannot, something wrong with my eye. So, maybe I broke out with my eye.
Yeah, I mean, watch what you say about the angels, because you don't make them angry.
But, and so the way I look at it is that I agree that these names refer to knowledge, and I would just like to submit for your thinking, for you to develop on your own or reject, that maybe these names is a special form of knowledge. They refer to those special qualities of Allah which He gave us the ability to exercise when He, as Ustaz mentioned, gave part of Himself to us as a soul. He breathed unto us something of His Spirit. That is our soul. And this gives us the capacity to understand certain things. And the angels can never know this. It seems to me, therefore, that in our test in life, you need a body, and you need the combination of this body with part of ourselves, which really is Allah's, to exercise certain things in order to arrive at certain knowledge. And this is what Allah had given us. And that's why He has sent us to a material world. Because only we can interact in this material world with our bodies and exemplify certain potentialities. And the angels cannot, by virtue of their nature.
Yeah, they can.
They can?
They carried the palace of the Queen of Sheba they're very physical.
Yeah.
They can, I mean, they are actually, they start a tornado.
Well, I don't say everything, but some they can, for example,
Yeah, see, what I'm saying is they're very physical. They're not people. A lot of people think of angels as spirits who will go through this wall. They can't tear it down, but they are very
no,
physical.
I agree with you, they are forces, they can do. But I cannot imagine an angel having a toothache and telling Allah, Allah, strengthen me with my patience to tolerate this toothache. Please open me.
Yeah.
Certain cases. Not all, because the idea here is that angels seem to know certain things.
The only problem with the names of Allah is that the next verse says that God showed these things to the angels. And said, tell me the names of these. So they are objects. They are the names of objects. Rather than just names, period.
Yeah, but 32 suggests that the
But it's a very
angels...
good- it's a very good
No,
point.
angels know some of the names. In 32, they say we have no knowledge except what you already have taught us. So angels know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is God
But
showed
not
the
all.
angels,
Yeah.
showed the angels something, object, and said, give me the names of these. So it says, presented them to the angels and asked them, give me the names of these. So there is something being presented, and the angels asked to give the names of these.
Yeah, but the angels do not seem to know.
Right, they did.
They don't know.
Is there a way of Arabic in showing the difference between pronouns and these, if it's for creatures or people or animals?
Things, the
No.
person thinks.
No, it just says these, objects.
Well, it could be qualities.
How would God
Like
show,
them,
how do
like
you show a quality?
airplanes of them?
How can you show clemency?
Yes, you cannot see clemency, but you can see its effect on material things.
No, but you cannot present clemency to someone and say, what is this?
For example, on a hot day when it rains, this is something physical, but we can say it is an expression of the quality of Allah of mercy. It is not the quality
or
itself.
punishment.
Or punishment, the case may be. Because Allah, also one of his names, he punishes. He gives a strong punishment. Anyhow, this is just a form of knowledge for reflection.
Very good point.
But I don't want to go deeper or insist on it. It's just for some who would like
It's
to...
really very simple, actually. There are straightforward verses. And this is a very good point. The names can be anything. Let's go back to English because it's becoming... We're trying to get the other two teachings.
Okay, 35. Adam lived with your wife in paradise and eat generously, but don't approach the tree. Just setting the scene for what he knows is going to happen.
The tree represents God's law.
And man, because the devil beat them of it, causing their addiction. Go down as enemies to each other. I don't know if this each other refers to the devil and mankind, or if it means to Adam, man and woman. All three.
It's plural, it's plural.
And then it's important though that on earth will be your habitation and sustenance for a while. It's not condemning them there forever. And Adam received God's word, received from his Lord words whereby he redeemed them. So I'd assume that that's after the period of time Adam was raised with it.
No, it's right there. God told them that this offense that you did is forgiven. Period. Because the ultimate objective was to send Adam and all his descendants to earth in order to show Satan and the angels that this creature will worship God without ever seeing him. That's the second objective of our creation. But so, as far as we're concerned, we are here to worship God, to discover that God is the only master.
Which is really what number 38 is all about.
Right.
We said, go down there from all of you, and when guidance comes to you from me, those who follow my guidance have nothing to fear, and will they agree that although mankind is placed on earth, we're not forgotten, we're not just left. We'll have the opportunity, but the responsibility to some degree, along with a lot of mercy, to go back to God. As for those who disbelieve and reject revelations, they have reserved hell and they abide there forever. There was a note here about revelation. That speaks frequently in the plural. This invariably indicates participation to angels in God's will, to give them credit for their participation. For example, God's revelation to us was brought down by the